I'm Ruthie Zell.
And I'm Randy Jackson. Up on Today in St. Louis at 6. A St. Louis police officer is fighting for his life this morning after being struck by a car. We'll have the latest.
And a new expansion plan for Metrolink has been approved, but not everyone is happy about it. We'll have the details.
We saw a big cool down yesterday. Is that going to last through the weekend? I'll forecast. The news starts now.
This is News Channel 5, Today in St. Louis.
Good morning. It's Saturday, October 4th. Our top story this morning, a St. Louis police officer is in critical condition after being struck by a car.
That officer was one of 3 people hurt in a multi-vehicle accident last night on Interstate 44. As you can see, the officer had stopped a car when another vehicle struck his police car. Additional cars then slammed into that wreckage. 2 other women injured in the accident were treated and released from a local hospital. Interstate 44 was closed while that accident was cleared.
His family and the citizens that Sergeant Richard Weinhold gave his life to protect will say a final goodbye today. Funeral services for the 44-year-old St. Louis County police officer will be held at Emmanuel Lutheran Church. Hundreds of people paid their respects at a visitation yesterday at Bowie St. Charles Memorial Gardens. Weinhold was a 13-year veteran of the force when he was shot Tuesday. 43-year-old Thomas Meeks is charged in that shooting. The family of a popular suburban St. Louis mayor is inviting the public to a rosary service for him. Florissant Mayor James Egan died Thursday after suffering a reaction to medication. He was 74 and had been mayor of North St. Louis for North St. Louis County for 37 years. A private mass was planned for Monday, but the family is inviting the public to a rosary service at 2:30 that afternoon at the St. Dismas Catholic Church in Florissant.
An Illinois man is jailed this morning after leading police officers on a high-speed chase in a stolen SUV through 3 Missouri counties. And the police pursuit began, as you can see, at the service station in Lake St. Louis in St. Charles County yesterday, then moved along I-70 through St. Louis County, where other police departments joined the chase. The chase reached speeds up to 80 miles per hour through the city of St. Louis, where it moved onto I-55 heading south into Jefferson County. It wasn't police that finally stopped the stolen SUV just south of Festus.
Basically, the vehicle ran out of gas, and that's what forced him to pull over. Otherwise, he'd still probably be trying to get away.
The suspect, 32-year-old Howard Hart from Effingham, Illinois, was arrested on I-55 just south of Festus. He faces a long list of charges. No injuries, luckily, were reported in that chase, but 2 police cars were damaged. A licensed practical nurse may not spend any time in jail on charges he raped a 75-year-old nursing home resident who has Alzheimer's. 63-year-old Charles Williams is seen leaving the Jefferson County courthouse here with his wife. The Cedar Hill man was working as a nurse at the Cedar Hills Pavilion Nursing Home last November when the alleged assault occurred. Williams entered what's called an Alford plea. He still denies he raped the woman, but admits there's enough evidence to convict him. The victim's daughter hopes a judge will send Williams to jail.
I would respectfully submit to him that he do all within his power to assist us in rectifying this very, very serious situation so that this perpetrator has no further chance to hurt any other victims in nursing homes across the state of Missouri or any other state.
The prosecutor in the case has recommended that Williams receive probation rather than jail time.
A Belleville man accused of a string of South St. Louis County rapes is now charged with attacking women in the Metro East. Police arrested 31-year-old Donald Coppage 2 weeks ago after DNA linked him to at least 2 sexual assaults in South St. Louis County. Yesterday, Madison County, Illinois prosecutor Bill Hain announced the same DNA matched evidence taken from 2 separate assaults on women in Troy and Glen Carbon, Illinois.
The case proceeded over a period of the last year with them going through possible suspects. This guy was developing into a serial rapist.
Madison County authorities charged Coppage with aggravated sexual assault, attempted sexual assault, and burglary. Coppage remains behind bars in Missouri on $600,000 bond.
Amy O'Keefe joins us now with a look at our forecast. A little cooler outside.
It is a 20-degree drop from Wednesday, so hopefully you got in your outdoor activities earlier in the week. It's still not going to be too terribly bad, though. We'll have plenty of clouds out there today. We have mainly a light wind now. Fog really isn't an issue, though, because dew points are very low in the upper 30s. We'll have temperatures today in the low 60s. Our next chance for rain is Sunday night. Heavy rain across Arkansas, Oklahoma and Texas today. In fact, Texas has some flooding. This is some of the cloudiness that's drifting in that's associated with that same system that's leaving the heavy rain in Texas. Few lighter clouds across Iowa, and we actually have a few breaks from Kansas City into Kirksville, but for us, we're expecting mostly cloudy conditions. At the airport, that's what it is, mostly cloudy with a temperature of 51, humidity at 58%, and the wind is calm. That's what will remain most of the day, with the barometric pressure at 30.23, and it is rising. Across the area, most of the temperatures are near 50 degrees at this hour, 48 in Jefferson City, 49 in Rolla, and this is the rain that's leaving some very heavy amounts, anywhere from 4 to 5 inches from San Antonio, Austin. That heavy rain is going to be moving into Dallas, Fort Worth today, as well as Little Rock. For us, will remain dry today, but look for some of that rain to begin to work its way into the area tomorrow night. If you're heading to the east, Lexington, Kentucky, Memphis, those are areas that could have some rain too. But overall, we'll see temperatures in the 60s across most of Missouri. Illinois, a little bit cooler though in the 50s. Still well off to the north, so we don't have to worry about the real cool air yet, but we might be getting our own cold air in the overnights as we get into the upcoming week. Before today, 61 southeasterly wind, mainly cloudy, and then tonight 45. So not too bad.
All right. Thank you, Amy.
Thanks a lot.
The Bi-State Development Agency has approved an expansion plan for Metrolink that runs through St. Louis and 6 suburbs. The new route for the light rail extension is similar to a plan approved by the East-West Gateway Council last year. The changes approved yesterday include moving the proposed Forsyth station in Clayton to just east of Hanley Road. Some nearby residents are opposed to the change.
Hanley Station is not needed because it would be only 2 blocks, 1,800 feet from the station in the Clayton Central Business District.
There is no way that you're going to place a project of this magnitude in the middle of the community without some disruption. I mean, it's impossible.
Yesterday's vote allows engineers to complete what will be the final design and engineering of the Metrolink extension.
Well, some of Missouri's most famous entertainers took to the stage to honor Governor Mel Carnahan. We'll have a look at some of that tribute.
Plus, Governor George W. Bush tries to close the door on his drunk driving arrest a few years ago, saying he's learned from his mistakes. And St. Louis school officials explain why they hope you vote yes for Proposition 1.
This is News Channel 5 Today in St. Louis with Rick Jackson, Ruthie Zell, and Amy O'Keefe. The most watched morning newscast.
Welcome back. The time is 6:09 and the stars were out in St. Louis last night to celebrate the life of Mel Carnahan.
They took the stage at the Pageant Theater in University City. Among them, musician Don Henley, and he, along with Missouri natives Kevin Klein and Cheryl Crow, performed in front of about 2,000 people. Crow, a former teacher, produced last night's performance. The theme, Keep the Fire Going.
I just said, can I come? Can I celebrate the man's life? Hopefully light a fire under people to go out and spread the word that you can still vote for what it was he believed in.
A message from Gene Carnahan was read to the audience as well. Actors Brad Pitt and John Goodman, both Missouri natives, were also invited to the concert but were unable to attend. Senator John Ashcroft's hoped for a photo opportunity with country music star Randy Travis last night. In fact, the campaign apologized for the news release it issued earlier this week, suggesting the appearance at the St. Louis Family Church in Chesterfield was a campaign event.
This is a church event. This is a gospel event. This is not a place to do politics. I've enjoyed my association with this congregation, not just here, but down at the arena for other events, and it's never been political.
Ashcroft was scheduled to make a few remarks before a gospel performance by Randy Travis, but TV cameras were not allowed inside.
Well, former President George Bush will be in suburban St. Louis to campaign for his son. Meanwhile, George W. Bush says he's learned from his mistakes, but that's about all he'll say about drunk driving arrests 24 years ago. Bush campaigned in Michigan on Friday. He told a crowd of supporters he's made mistakes in his life, but has learned from those mistakes. A reporter in Maine Thursday night revealed Bush had been arrested for driving under the influence back in 1976. Bush's opponent Al Gore and the Gore campaign refused to comment on that arrest. At a rally in Kansas City Friday, Gore focused on reaching out to undecided voters. Gore also attacked a comment Bush made concerning Social Security. Bush said that Social Security is not, quote, some kind of federal program for bureaucrats to control. Gore says if Bush does not understand Social Security, that could explain why he's ready to raid its trust fund to pay for a private investment account.
St. Louis public school officials are working to get people to the polls Tuesday to approve Proposition 1 on the city ballot. Educators are seeking voter approval for an $80 million bond issue to air condition between 32 and 50 schools. With more students in classrooms longer, educators say the air conditioning is essential. Superintendent Cleveland Hammond stresses the measure will not raise taxes.
Proposition 1 is for students. It's not for Cleveland Hammonds or Marlene Davis or anybody like that. It's for students. It's to air condition the classrooms. Secondly, we want to make sure that people understand that it will not increase taxes.
If approved, air conditioning will be installed in the 32 schools where student achievement is lowest. There is no organized opposition to Proposition 1.
Well, the treatment for Parkinson's disease could actually make you hallucinate. Coming up in this morning's Health Beat report, News Channel 5's Kay Quinn shows us how local researchers are trying to find a safer way to treat Parkinson's.
And blood supplies are falling to dangerous levels, not for humans, but for animals. We'll explain straight ahead.
Monday, a quiet summer evening, a car with expired license plates, an unsuspecting officer, then
I never thought that it would happen to me.
Shot 4 times. The life of Antoine Easterwood would never be the same.
It can't make you question, you know, why did I even become a police officer?
Now, months later, can this St. Louis area cop battle back to the very streets that nearly cost him his life? Cover story, Monday at 10, only on News Channel 5.
A worldwide effort is underway to prevent the hallucinations caused by some drugs used to control the stiffness and tremors caused by Parkinson's disease.
Now local researchers want to see if another drug will actually stop those psychotic episodes, and News Channel 5's Kay Quinn explains in this morning's Health Beat.
Close your eyes. Very good. Okay, open your eyes. I'd like you to touch your fingers almost.
Pat Schrack was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease 15 years ago. It's a disease of the central nervous system that can cause severe tremors and stiffness.
Hold one hand up in the air, go back and forth with it like this.
She's on drugs that increase dopamine in the brain to keep her active. But 4 years ago, Pat began suffering a common and sometimes disabling side effect of the drugs. She started to hallucinate.
I'll see somebody I know standing in the doorway and think I have a visitor and there's nobody there. That kind of thing.
Now she's one of about 10 volunteers helping doctors determine whether a drug approved to treat schizophrenia can also help Parkinson's patients.
One of the real questions is whether any of these newer medicines to treat hallucinations can be effective without worsening the Parkinson's disease.
To find out, Dr. Black and his colleagues are looking for volunteers with Parkinson's disease who are also taking Sinemet and suffering from hallucinations but not currently being treated for them. Patients like Pat will be separated into 2 groups, those who get an antipsychotic drug called Zyprexa and those who get a sugar pill. Neither doctors nor patients will know who gets what.
With the dose that we're using right now, we've had a few patients who have had noticeable benefit with reduction of their hallucinations.
Study results won't be available for more than a year, but Pat hopes one day Parkinson's patients won't have to choose between good mental health and the drugs that allow them to move.
It's not as though we can live without them. We have to have them.
Kay Quinn, News Channel 5.
Local researchers are looking for 20 additional volunteers. If you'd like more information on the Parkinson's and hallucinations treatment study, you can call this number, area code 314-362-6514, or simply log on to the KSDK.com website.
Tomorrow is the 5th of the month, time to take part in our Friend to Friend program. We ask women to team up with a friend and remind each other to do a monthly breast self-exam. The best time to do an exam is 1 week after your period. If you'd like more information, call the Friend to Friend hotline at 314-362-WELL.
Well, a nationwide blood drive is underway, not for humans, but for pets. The nation's 4 largest pet blood suppliers say they have a major shortage. It includes 2-month waiting lists for rare cat plasma and up to a 6-week wait for dog plasma. Experts say advances in veterinary medicine and pet owners' willingness to spend big bucks on the family cat or dog have spurred the need for this blood.
And are you looking for a way to spruce up your house plants?
Well, Alan Smith shows us how coming up in this morning's Garden Report.
You're waking up to many clouds. Is that going to be the case for the rest of the weekend? And is there any rain in the forecast? I'll have the details and that coming up next.
And it looks like we have some clouds coming our way.
We sure do, and in fact, they're going to be around much of the weekend. We're going to have very little sunshine. There's a little bit of dry air out there, and it's to the northwest. And we're right on that dividing line between the driest air caused by the high pressure and a series of storms that will be moving in later in the weekend. But for today, do look for dry conditions. Temperatures on the cool side, though just barely breaking 60 degrees for the anticipated high temperature. Across the area, this is what we had last night, very thick clouds and a little bit of drier air, though off to the northwest across Iowa, actually into Kansas City and Kirksville. A little bit of sunshine this morning, but this will most likely fill back in with clouds later today. Across the area, temperatures aren't too bad. Dropped a few degrees in Wildwood, it's 46, and a few more in Kansas City or Jefferson City, 44, 45 in Raleigh, the coolest areas located there because of the breaks in the clouds. Farmington 52 and a couple 50s. At the airport, we are reporting mostly cloudy conditions with the temperature this hour 51 degrees. Relative humidity 58%, quite low because the dew points are very low. Wind is calm, and that's what will be most of the morning with the barometric pressure on the rise. Normally in the state, we're at 61 and 51. Sunrise is at 6:31, and we're seeing just a little bit of sunshine now, but we're not going to see much of that sun today, so get out there early if you want to see it. Sunsets just before 5 o'clock tonight. Temperatures across the region vary considerably. We have 30s up in Chicago, 37, almost 20 degrees warmer in Nashville as well as Memphis. That's where the warmer air is located, as well as some of the thicker clouds with the rain. We're right in between the coolest and warmest air today, and that's where we'll stay for most of the weekend. It's not until Sunday night that we'll really begin to see these dew points coming up. Most of the area in the mid-40s, but in some cases the dew points are in the upper 30s, and that's quite low for this time of year. One reason, because of the high pressure that's creating a clockwise circulation around with the air sinking, that tends to be drier air. We have a system of clouds moving in from the south. These clouds are leaving very heavy rainfall across Arkansas today as we move into where the stationary front is located across Texas. In most cases across central Texas, they have 4 and 5 inches, very widespread, very heavy rainfall with flash flooding and flooding located there today. But these are the systems that will begin to come in as we get into Sunday night and Monday, so a series of storms will help to bring in some of this rain for us. A little bit of rain across Albuquerque and Roswell, New Mexico, as well as some snow across the higher elevations. Pretty dry across the northeast, though, today, but that will pick up as a front does begin to approach across Washington, and that's going to also help the stormy situation for us on Monday. But today, you're running into some wet weather anywhere from Kentucky to Tennessee, Memphis, some heavy rainfall located there. For us, just clouds is what we'll be dealing with for the next 24 hours. In fact, tomorrow's going to be quite cloudy, too, but we're not looking for any rain until we get into the evening hours, and more likely even on Monday, and it's going to be a wet one because this heavier rain is expected to be coming on in. Cool across the north, Minnesota and Wisconsin in the 30s this morning, and we're experiencing some of that cooler air. But this is still where we're expecting the heavier rain to be today. This high pressure that's keeping us dry today is going to scoot off to the east very quickly. So winds, while they're calm now, will pick up a little bit as we get into the evening as well as tomorrow. This morning, you're waking up to 50-degree temperatures. Today's high, 61, southeasterly wind later today. And then tonight, 45, the southeasterly wind continuing. And then this is how the 5-day shapes up. You know, I'm still looking at dry conditions until at least 5 o'clock tomorrow night. We'll see scattered light showers and then more widespread showers in the overnight into Monday morning. This could be lasting into Tuesday and maybe a little bit of break on Wednesday. Temperatures quite cool for the rest of this weekend and the upcoming week.
All right. Thank you, Amy.
Thanks, Amy. Well, he made his mark on the St. Louis sports scene last year. Now
see how Kurt Warner makes his mark at home. Deanne Lane gets personal with Kurt and Brenda Warner coming up in this morning's cover story.
I'm Karen Foss with the Week in Review. Monday, Jean Carnahan said she would accept appointment to the U.S. Senate if her late husband outpolls John Ashcroft. The 66-year-old has never sought nor held public office, but Monday the widow declared herself strong enough to stand in for her late husband.
I'll not be campaigning in the traditional sense. I think that I'll be trying to let people be informed that a vote for Mel Carnahan is a vote that they can make. It's a legal vote. It's a proper way to carry his ideals forward, and at that time they still have a choice.
Monday, 2 men were arrested in the murder of a pregnant St. Anne store clerk. One of the suspects is a former co-worker with the victim, 25-year-old Brandy Roussan. Police arrested 30-year-old Donald Williams and 34-year-old Paul Rowland. Both men have been charged with first-degree murder, robbery, and armed criminal action. Tuesday, what began as a housing dispute ended with the death of a St. Louis County Police Sergeant, Richard Weinhold.
He was dedicated to the citizens of St. Louis County, dedicated to his fellow officers, and he was a dedicated, strong family man.
44-year-old Weinhold leaves a wife and 4 children. He was a 13-year veteran of the force. Weinhold was wearing a bulletproof vest but was shot in the shoulder. After a 4-hour standoff, the suspect surrendered. Tuesday, in another part of North St. Louis County, 3 men robbed the Pulaski Bank near Jamestown Mall. Their getaway car crashed into a tree and the 3 men ran into a nearby house. Police surrounded the house and 2 of the suspects surrendered. Officers recovered the money and at least 1 gun, but the 3rd man escaped. Wednesday, a 43-year-old man was charged with first-degree murder in the shooting death of Sergeant Richard Weinhold. Thomas Meek is held without bond at the St. Louis County Jail. Prosecutors say he has a long history of crimes in the St. Louis area. Wednesday, a diverse group of organizations teamed up with the St. Louis Rams to tackle the problem of discrimination. The group is sponsoring a hotline and a web page to try to help fight discrimination. Mayor James Egan of Florissant died Thursday. Egan was hospitalized more than 2 weeks ago after suffering a reaction to medication. Egan was first elected mayor of Florissant in 1963. He was re-elected to his 10th term last year. His tenure is the longest in the state of Missouri, the 2nd longest in the country.
Had the New Year's parties, and I think I don't know who they're going to get to replace him, but they're going to miss him.
He was a very dynamic leader. He was a man of decision, and he was a man of vision. And I would compare his leadership to anyone's. He had tremendous leadership abilities, and he certainly showed at all times.
Thursday, a 16-year-old St. Louis County teenager charged with his mother's murder was certified as an adult. Adrian Kinder faces murder and arson charges in the shooting death of his mother, 43-year-old Sherry Kinder, in their Blackjack home. I'm Karen Foss with the Week in Review.
For the first time since the Rams' Super Bowl victory, MVP Kurt Warner shows us a side of him and his family few have ever seen.
Kurt and Brenda Warner will be the first to tell you how fortunate and how blessed they are. But this past year has also been one of major adjustment. Here's News Channel 5's Deanne Lane with today's cover story.
Dick Vermeil did not panic, and he gave the job to an unknown backup quarterback by the name of Kurt Warner.
You know, that is my role, and now it's time for me to step up to be this team's starting quarterback and to lead this team to a lot of success.
I don't know, the Super Bowl thing's kind of cool, did you?
You know, it can bring back some memories, you know, down the road somewhere.
To the right, Warner goes over the middle, trouble,
This is the 101 award. Okay. And then back here's the Miller Lite.
Yeah, I think that'll be fun. That'll be the fun part, is going through it and really being able to remember the different things, you know, the different covers or the different pictures and where they were, and to kind of reflect back on what we did last year.
Kurt and Brenda Warner are still unpacking after buying their dream home.
So you can get an idea of how much stuff there was in 1 year.
Tucked away on almost 5.5 acres in St. Louis County, they find the privacy that has eluded them for much of their fantasy years.
He doesn't know any of these details. There are 5 bedrooms upstairs. And the worst part is...
Here, they're just mom and dad to 11-year-old Zach, 8-year-old Jesse Joe, and 2-year-old Cade.
Can you give him a mean look?
Another baby girl will get her start in February.
So names? Dad?
We got some ideas. Yeah. We can't give out all the information. Everybody knows our life anyways. We can't give away everything. So.
The issue of privacy has been the most difficult for both to tackle.
Instead of being able to catch a movie or take the family out to eat, you know, everybody else always comes along with you.
It's hard, you know, then 15 minutes out of surgery and they want an autograph. And it's totally inappropriate at that time, and so I'm the one that says it's totally inappropriate, and I'm the bad guy.
While Kurt plays the role of hero, Brenda is the protector, a role she too embraces, even in Kansas City recently when she was taunted by abusive fans.
They can identify me, and then every interception, which there were a few, they turn around and egg it on, and it's best now because then I can just kind of sit down and let them do what they need to do, but I don't react. I'm getting better at it. It was a joke back in Barnstormer time because he'd say, "Who'd you get in a fight with this time?" You know, and I'm like, well, you don't understand what they say, and so I'm learning.
One thing the Warners haven't had to learn, but honor instinctively, is to share the blessing. Kurt plans on tithing at least 10% of his $47 million contract to his church.
At least. At least, yeah.
That's a given.
Yeah, I mean, it's all his anyways. He's just, you know, he's given it to us, you know, to use it, and, you know, we got to sow back into the kingdom in whichever way we can.
Deanne Lane, News Channel 5.
Nice family. Yeah. Well, do you dream of trying your luck on the Wheel of Fortune? Well, coming up in a few minutes, we'll tell you how you can get your chance to try out for the show.
But first, some people posing like they're from the federal government may be ripping you off. We'll show you what to look for after a break.